Many of the national security people in the United States question, what type of ally are they now? This is not the Turkey of 20, 30 years ago. This is an entirely different leadership. And President Erdogan does not have any type of interest in defending the people that we believe we need to defend. In fact, he has made the enemy of the people that we have found to be our allies. And that is a very precarious position. So the United States has to move very delicately with this, but at the same time, let there be no mistake. President Erdogan needs the United States more than the United States needs Turkey. The economic sanctions can cause his own country to have it could have a very debilitating effect upon his economy, which is already suffering quite a bit. Friends of mine have gone over to Turkey, talked about how cheap it is. They need tourists. They're suffering because a lot of people have seen them as a place you cannot visit. You could be kidnapped. They feel that there's a lot of problems. This whole situation with Khashoggi happening in Turkey. Lots of bad things seem to be getting tied to Turkey. So I question the allegiance that we have with them, but there's no way out of some of these agreements. They're not something that you can just with a sweep of a pen change. But I think that our president, our Secretary of State, our national security advisor are all on the same page. They're not pulling out of Syria without ensuring those conditions are met to ensure that the Kurds, that the YPG, and that the Syrian Defense Forces are not abandoned. Because not only do they have to worry about Turkey, they have to worry about the Iranians and the Russians and President Erdogan's people coming in and trying to seize that land that is rich in oil and agriculture and give them a gateway right into Iraq. So we understand this is a very strategic and delicate situation. Well, right now in Iraq, there are 5,500 troops, and many of them are special forces, which include Marines and soldiers. The Marines can deploy anywhere in the world in 48 hours. So with that said, I do believe that the forces in Iraq can assist Kurds at any given time in a rapid way. They can also attack ISIS if it should start coming back over the borders. We are not pulling out of Iraq. So that's important for people to understand. Also, our forces have not withdrawn from Syria right now. They are starting to remove equipment, but based again upon many of the conditions that are happening right now, we may slow down that. There's only 2,000 troops in Syria. It's not a major operation force. In fact, it's actually supposed to be there just to support and assist versus fight. And many of the people that we are working with, we have trained them, and we have trained them well to defend themselves and to fight against ISIS. The biggest problem we have with ISIS, in 2011, we prematurely left Iraq. And what did ISIS do? It went into Mosul, took over the city, and essentially we had to deploy our forces back into Iraq. No greater loss has happened than with the U.S. when we lost all of our Marine soldiers and sailors who fought against ISIS the first time, fought against the enemy the first time. We withdrew, only having to go back. It's almost as if our blood was in vain. So we can't make that mistake again. For us to help, we have to make sure that we're helping, not hurting, that we don't make it a bigger problem, that we ensure that Iraq can have its own independence, that Kurds can have their independence, and we don't want Iran to be festering in Iraq, which it is doing right now, supporting those Shia forces. And we don't want Iran in Syria, which it is right now, supporting Bashar al-Assad. None of those are helping the Kurdish people. And I don't know that they're keeping their focus on ISIS, because they sometimes have their own agendas that miss the mark. ISIS is a great threat, but it's more or less they like us being tied up with ISIS because then they can do their dirty work on the sides, and it's harder for us to manage.